we're good. All right, gentlemen, come to attention. Show respect, good bow. Shake those arms out a little bit, get them loosened up. Walk around a little bit. Don't hold still. Welcome to class today. We're going to be working on some jiu-jitsu stuff. We're going to be doing something called an Ezekiel choke. When you're choking people, make sure you are very careful that you pay attention to the fact that they're not passing out, right? Because what we're doing is we're cutting off circulation to their brain. All right, let's take those knees, get them up. So the knees up. Anytime we're tapping out a partner, make sure we let them know that tapping out is their plan, right? So if you feel any discomfort, if you feel lightheaded, if you feel pressure on your neck, especially if you're new, tap. It's okay to tap early. Body squats. Butt back, heels have the weight. Toes should be able to pick up off the ground and still balance. Breathing out through your mouth, into your nose. So again, we'll be doing chokes today. Be very careful. You're going to need to make sure you have some kind of sleeve on. Even if it's not a jiu-jitsu gi top, you need a sleeve, which means in a street fight, you could still do this if you're smothering someone in a mount or even a standing grappling position. All right, have a seat on the ground. Do legs up and down, so scissor motions. Just gonna go for 30 seconds, moving those legs up and down. If it's hard to do on your body, remember, just bend your knees. If you can, keep your legs straight. Gotta have a core that's really strong. We tend to get our core a little bit of a workout in jiu-jitsu class. Make sure you're doing these drills, not just when class is going on. All right, relax. Crunches, so lifting up the shoulders. Ready? Hands up, breathing out through your mouth. Crunches, lifting up. Back in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Back in through your nose. All right, get a little leg stretch, pull that knee across your body, get that hip loose, stretch up that back. And another way. Pull that knee across to the ground. Flatten that back out, move that arm over. Breathing into your nose. Out through your mouth on the exhale, lower that body down a little bit. All right. Put your feet close to your butt. You're doing bridges. So you're looking up, looking to the side of you at an angle, then trying to reach your hand across your body. Lift your butt. Roll on your shoulder. Feel your weight. Roll. Over your shoulder. Keep switching the hands. Right hand, left hand, belly up. Two more. All right, egg beaters. Move those legs in circles. Get those hips loose. Get those knees loose. Inward rotating motion. Outward rotating motion. Up and over. Keep switching them. All right. Come on up. So let's get started today. So what we're going to do today is we're going to choke the snot out of our friends, right, our family members. But again, tap. So anytime someone is performing any kind of choke on you, make sure that you have your hand ready to slap them, pinch them, make loud noises, gurgle sounds, something. You can tap with your foot, any kind of indication that it's time to stop. And if you're the person doing the choking, be very conscious of what your partner is doing. So we're going to start, and we're going to do this from a mount position. Okay, so I have Mr. Anderson on his back. Right, and so I'm going to be up, and I'm going to be mounted position. And he's got his arms here. And the first I'm going to work on is just how to approach the position so that I can actually get into choking position. I'm going to take his hand, and I'm going to start to push it down to the floor. So I'm going to start to take this hand, and I'm going to start to just drop my weight into his arm and push it this way. I'm always going after the hand that's on top because it's harder for him to hold down. So I start just pushing and pushing and trying to push this arm down to the floor, and I'm trying to get my chest down, right? Okay, so let's rotate a little bit so they can see whatever the top hand is, right? Put both arms, palms on his arm, and I start to just pivot and drop my weight into his arm, trying to smush it down to the floor. Now, if he just let me have it, you know, then we could get an Americana. We could attack this arm. It's not the goal. I want to attack his neck. I know he's going to stop me on that, so I'm purposely doing it. So you're pushing the arm down, right? And I'm getting here on the ground, and then what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take my hand, I'm going to bring my elbow across and start to grab at his neck. Because this will create a what? Choking motion. He will do what with his arms? Nope, not tap yet. He doesn't want to get choked, so he does what to stop it? Yeah, he's going to start to bring his arm up. See this? And now I've got his arm pinned. Okay, so he didn't even know this was coming. He fell right into it. So we're going to push the arm down, step one. Okay. Step two, grab the shoulder. Step three, start to drive the arm down. So they come up and they grab our arm. Okay? That's all I want you to do. Then just repeat. Then they'll switch hands once in a while. Push the arm down. Grab the shoulder. Start to go in. And they come up and grab your arm. That's what I want us doing. So just those couple steps. Okay? So I'm going to start the clock. We're going to go 2 minutes, one person. We'll keep rotating every couple times. Just those few steps. And we'll actually just go 1 minute on this drill, then 1 minute the other person. Oh man, I push it down and get my chest on it, and I start to grab at that neck. Good. Pushing the arm down, coming here. Get my chest low, reaching up, grabbing the neck. I want him to bring that arm up in a position that I can get inside of it. So pushing it down. And if he just gave it to me, right, I'd slip my hook in, and I would start to go after it, but he's not going to just give it to me. Pushing that arm down, starting to grab after that neck. There we go. Pushing the arm down, starting to get after that neck a little bit. Pushing that arm down, starting to get after that neck a little bit. One more time. Find the top arm, push it. If I can trap it, that would be phenomenal, right? Because then I don't even have to do that second step. All right, change jobs, other person's job. So push arm down, hook the shoulder. Mr. Anderson will watch the clock and give you a couple seconds to get in position, and then 1 minute of repetitions. Begin.
Another 10 seconds. One more time. And relax.
All right, so we're going to push the arm down. We're going to grab at their neck. We're going to let them grab up at our arms. So we're not just going to practice doing the choke. We're going to practice for the situation. We're going to kind of even look at what might go wrong in our setup, and that's them trying to defend and grab our arms. So we're thinking ahead, so it's not a surprise when we get the reaction. So I push his arm down, right? And I start to grab at his neck, and he starts to grab. I'm going to pivot my body and fish my arm through so I can start to drive. And what I'm doing is just getting into the lower part of his bicep and separating his arm. Because now I've got that arm stuffed, and I'm going to start to be able to get my arm down here. So what I don't want is I don't want this arm to come up and fish around and get in my way. So when I pin this arm here, right, I had this position here. As soon as I pop this arm, I put this arm on the ground, and I keep my elbow tight. So if he tries to get his arm through, not happening. I'm going to lift up his head. I'm going to reach my arm through underneath. You guys see how that works? So my arm's underneath his head. So step one, push arm down. Okay? Step two, grab the shoulder. He grabs my arm. Step 3, swim my arm through to break the grip. Step 4, position arm tight. 5, lift the head and get under. You'll get a lot of people who will purposely take their head and they'll pull weight and they'll try and drive it down because they don't want your arm underneath. So that's actually something I want you to get used to practicing, is having to pull the head up. You might not be able to fish your hand under. So let's go through those steps. We'll do it for a minute. If you're pretty familiar with the first couple of steps, you can kind of just start with your arm in the neck if you want, or you can go through each step for your repetition. You figure out what you want to do. I'm just going to swim through now since he's not blocking. Go one more time. Get my chest low, going after that arm. Breaking that grip. Really can go either hand. All right, switch it up. So we're getting that arm under the head. We're almost ready to choke someone. So just kind of driving my face this way. This way, this arm doesn't really come up in the way. This arm gonna lift the head, fish underneath.
One more time.
All right, so let's practice this motion. So if you're up on your knees, watch first, then we'll get repetitions. Ready to go. So both elbows on the floor, right? We lift the head up. We put our arm under. We grab onto the other sleeve, and I want to get this sleeve up a little bit. So I don't want it here like this. I want to kind of get my arm out, or I want to roll the sleeve up just by pinching and walking, right? So I walk the sleeve up, but I want to be a little bit higher. So it's going to be lift the head, arm goes under, grab the sleeve of the one lifting, right? So the hand that goes under the head is the one that gets the sleeve. Take your knuckles, punch your bicep. Okay? So let's start to do this. Ready? Lift the head, arm underneath, grab the sleeve, punch your bicep. Okay? Lift the head, underneath, grab the sleeve, punch your bicep. Keep it going. Let's go. We're going to go for a minute. I'm going to keep calling out the steps. Ready? Lift the head, arm underneath, grab the sleeve, punch the bicep. Keep going, just all on your own. Ready? Lift the head, arm underneath, grab the sleeve, punch the bicep. Lift the head, arm underneath, grab the sleeve, punch the bicep. Ready? Lift the head, arm underneath, grab the sleeve, punch the bicep. You can do the other arm. Lift the head, arm underneath, grab the sleeve, punch your bicep. Ready? Lift the head, arm underneath, grab your sleeve, punch the bicep. One more time. Lift the head, arm underneath, grab your sleeve, punch the bicep. So, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to put our bicep on one side of their neck, cutting off circulation. We're going to put our knuckles on the other side of their neck, cutting off circulation. And then we're going to try to punch our bicep, ultimately just squishing the neck into a flat little penny, right? Okay, and hopefully they tap first. So if you watch here, I'm in position. I've broken past his arms. I've gotten down, right? I've got his head up. I put my arm underneath, so I get it under nice and far. I grab my sleeve. I walk it up high. I'm gonna take and put my knuckles into his neck, and I'm trying to maneuver my shoulder under his chin and kind of push. So I'm here into his neck, and I'm just lowering my shoulder, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull. My left hand pulls my arm tight, and I just flex my shoulder into his neck. Okay? So I'm under his head, and I'm grabbing, and I'm gonna just drive my knuckles into his neck, and I'm just gonna rotate. So I'm gonna pull my hand in, I'm gonna drive my shoulder down. Okay? So you're on top, start with position, lift the head, arm underneath, grab your sleeve. Knuckle on the side of the neck, because you can't actually get your bicep. And then from there, just drive your head to the floor, pull your knuckles, and they should be ready to tap. And we just squish. You'll get some people who drop their chin into their chest. If you watch this, so I go here, and I can't get in, so I just put it on his jaw. And I just squeeze, and it'll just smush the jaw. Most people don't like pain, and they just tap. So just something, a little side note, if you get caught in that, you can't get into the neck the right way. But watch, if I just dip back a little bit, I can usually get my neck that I want. So if he puts his chin in, right, I just start dropping back. I just kind of drop and roll. And then I can start to just work my way into the neck. All right, keep it going. We still got another 30 seconds. I see taps going. Grabbing the sleeve, getting them tight. If your partner's nice and they're tapping, don't be so mean. If they're not tapping, start to just really grind into them. If you're grinding in and they're not tapping for too long, though, they probably passed out, so check on them once in a while. Okay, ready? Rotate jaws, other person get up on top. Start by just getting your arms into position. You broke down, you have your frames in, lift the head, go underneath, get your sleeve, put the bicep on the neck, so you try to drive, you're gonna get under that chin, and then pull your knuckles through. Remember to rotate your shoulder into the ground and yank your knuckles, so the hand, keep going, sir. Your hand on the sleeve pulls the knuckles in. So you gotta pull your arm out from underneath them. And if you get underneath their chin by accident, you get into their chin bone, that's not comfortable. So you'll still get a tap just because it hurts. But the goal is for now to get right into that neck and feel that fleshy part. And if you start to feel that choke before they finish it, that's okay. The goal is that we just tap. Tap early and get to tap again. If you don't tap early, you pass out. There you go. A little more up on the side. Or just stick it right in the jawbone. Key lock. Jump over. A little lower. There we go. fine-tune adjustments. All right. I like to make lots of noise when I'm being choked. Get a double tap. More up in the front. You're a little too far back. Nice. All right, time. So that's our Ezekiel choke from top mount. So now I want you to kind of play with it. So one person will get in mount and their job is to get down in position to grab. Now you might not have to go through all the steps that we just went through, right? You might be in top mount here and you're smothering someone, right? And you just reach in and you find that you can dig in and get it without having to get past their arms. They're not blocking it all, right? So you might not have to go through the steps. Or I might be in mount and he's trying to like push me off, right? In which case I can just swim right in right away. And now that I've swum in, then I can start to get my choke. So you might find that you don't have to go through those steps every time you're trying to push the arm off. This is just a scenario, and it's something that can happen. So one person will start up a mount, one person starts with their arms crossed like so. Okay? My job is to go from this position and get the choke. Okay? Person on the bottom, first time we try, give us like 5% resistance. Like if we even do a bad job, we get it right. And then every time, resist a little more up for the next minute, okay? Let's get going. Oh, man. Well, you can stop it, man. Don't have to stop it, though. Straight down. Feel that? Here, grab on real tight. Don't let me move it. Feel this? Feel this? Yep. Nice, huh? Feel this? Mr. Anderson's getting some nice little secrets today. Whispering sweet little secrets into his ear. Yeah, I'd like to push this down. Now your arm's weak. Now try and resist. Look at that. Make it so much harder. Fish it right through. Get tight to his head. Lift it up. Get underneath. Get this one here. And the nice thing is there's this little key point in the jaw that if they won't let you into their neck, you just drill into the jaw. Get the same submission. All right, rotate it up. Let's go. Other person. And if you've been rotating all along, that's fine. Going for a little bit longer to kind of play. Remember, start out really bad at resisting and then get really good by the end. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Roll the bread, right? That's the way Master Machado says it. Roll the bread. We didn't cover that little step today, but it works nice. Good nap time. Oh man. Defending, hold that arm. Oh man. Rotate. So now, partners, remember we got to use our hook up on top. So let me give you an example of why I have to use my, we're going to turn this way. So let's have a top and mount, right? We're here, and he just grabs a hold of me. It's not really the proper, he just grabs a hold. Yeah, okay, good. And then he starts to trap one of my feet, and then he starts to roll, right? Not really the best approach because now I give him another Ezekiel choke. But if you don't do something about your legs and they trap a foot and they roll, right, the right way especially, you're going to go with them. So he's going to try to just grab, you can just grab on me. And he starts to try to roll me this way, right? So what I want to do is take this leg and knock this leg out with my hook. Remember, I point my toes and I pivot this hip. So if I feel myself at any point to go that way, I want to knock it that way. If I start to go the opposite way during this, I use my other hook. And that will be your mount retention tool. So let's face sideways here and try this. So go on your knees, okay? So if you already know how to do hooks, this will be boring for you, but we're going to want to test this just for beginners. So we're on our knees, watch how this works, go down to your elbows, and then pivot your foot, okay? So my right hook stops me from falling that way. I'm hanging on to the person. Then switch, other knee up, so I kind of kickstand, and I've got a hook knocking out their hip and their leg. Ready, switch, and switch. Okay. So there's other classes on the hooks themselves, but just a little keynote, if you get stuck and they start rolling you off every time as you're trying to do this, not say you wouldn't just finish it from guard, but preferably want to stay up in mount position, okay? All right, so let's go again. So now, partners on the bottom, you can feel free to roll us off, escape, elbow escapes, push up to ankle locks, whatever. Your job is to get out. Get out from underneath the mount, okay? And if you roll up into our guard, you win, okay? Our job from top is to get the finish from on top. All right, let's go. You tap your partner, let him know it's time, and you start. Oh, yeah. So I got that hook in right away. Get the arm facing myself. Get the block. Lift the head. Got the sleeve. Drop the shoulder. Oh, yeah. Now I got it. Now I calm down. All right. We start again. But using those hooks, right, so I don't get tossed off the top. Here we go. Hold the breath. He was trying to time that one. Now his arm's strapped. He can't stop me on this side. We just open the key lock. Get in that. Oh, he tapped before I could have the fun. All right, one more time. He's resisting. He's chucking me off the top. Woo! Right? Using that hook. Right? Don't follow with hooks. A lot of times he'll just hang himself. Got that wide elbow. Can't take that arm and pass on it. Use the frame motion. Switch the other hand right away. Dig the shoulder. Get the tap. All right. Other person. One more time. Remember, throw them off the top. Roll them over. Get out. Get him started. Trying to give him some heck with this arm. Doing a good job using the hooks. Good. Oh. Just blocking my arms real well. He's got this arm tight. I feel the pressure from the shoulder. And he got it. All right. Oh, that's a bad arm. Didn't have that one. Oh. Get some arm free before I trap it. Pin in the arm. He's already got his other arm underneath. He's just trying to get his sleeve attached. Get my arm in the way. Just swims through again. Using this arm for a roll. He gets his hook in. Controlling that hand. Keep my own frame in. Trap escape. Good use of the hooks. Keep it as control. Oh, nice work, sir. Digs in the neck. Excellent. All right. So So hopefully you had some fun with that choke. It's a lot of fun, but make sure that your partner, right, knows to tap, and make sure if they're not tapping, you grind them a little bit. But if you've been grinding for a while, they're out cold, so stop grinding and wake them up a little bit, right? You know, if you're kind of young, make sure you're practicing with someone who's a little bit more mature and has a sense of mortality left in them, okay? Be careful with chokes, but very effective. You can do this from standing, you can do it from mount position, you can do it from guard. So you can kind of start to play with this choke a little bit, start to see of where you could actually accomplish it. The setup we did is kind of like an Americano or a key lock arm trap. So then you can kind of eventually work the two together. And that's kind of what I like to do, is you kind of have a double attack in a sense where you have one you're going for, but you have a backup. So if I'm on top of Mr. Anderson, right? Okay. And I'll go up to this arm here. So you're fine. So he's got this arm on top, and I want the Americana, right? So I want to finish this arm here, and I want to get this tap on this arm. So I want this arm. But I understand that he could possibly start to block this, right? He's starting to go for it. So then I start to look at what other options, you know, I might be able to sink into. So just something to think about is that if you're just kind of one attack mentality, as soon as you go for it, you showed them, right? It's like saying, I'm going to run the ball, they're going to stack the line. So the mentality would be that you have a backup plan that works well with the other one. Feel free to get more reps. You only get better through repetition, but we're going to stand up, bow out at this point. Thanks for joining us. So come to a tense position. Back straight, feet together, point your fingers, curl your thumbs. Shoulders back. We're going to have a good bow out, so let's all get up on our toes. Okay, ready, tense position. Good bow. Thank you very much. High fives. Oh wait, this class is supposed to be 45, isn't it? I thought I ran out of time. You know what, guys? We got to go a little bit longer. I planned 45 minutes, but I'm used to going from 0 to 45. So I was kind of wondering how I ran out of time. All right, so Mr. Anderson, back down. I was totally confused as to why I didn't get through the second part of my class. Okay, so let's look at something for a second. There's another motion I want to kind of go through this. So let's say I'm in this position. I start to push down, right? I start to get after him a little bit. When I get into the position where I'm going to get a hold of a sleeve, right? And he grabs onto me and starts to roll. So whichever one, right? And he starts to roll me over, which we just worked on stopping. I immediately keep this closed. Now I'm going to have my sleeve, right, in my fingers. And as soon as I go here, I'm starting to fish my fingers under his throat. So that works. I start to fish my fingers because he's going to try to create space, right? So he's going to be here, he's going to start to lift. And then I just chop him on the neck, not like a physical chop. And I pull my fingers this way. So I pull and I chop, and it creates just a slicing motion, okay? So if we go back to mount, thank you, sir, right? All I want you to do is start in the position where you already swam through, you already lifted the head, and you have your sleeve. And now what's going to happen is they're going to grab your arm. So they pinch an arm, they pinch a leg on the same side, and he bridges and rolls me. As soon as he rolls, I pull my arm down tight, and I try and get my elbow back so I have a little more freedom with his hand. I'm going to fish it underneath. And I could just take my finger and just run the jawline, which no one likes, right? Because that way he opens it up. I get my hand underneath, so as soon as he pushes up, I just let him push himself into the choke. You can do this with the sleeve on, you can do it with your uniform on. Works out real nice, okay? So let's look at it one more time, and then we'll do some timed repetition, okay? So you're gonna be on top, you're gonna have your sleeve, hand underneath, and let's have him go the opposite way this time, so you guys can see the sweep motion. So he grabs onto my arm, and I have my hook in, but if I leave it and he rolls the same direction as my hook, he wins. So I have this, I pull down tight, and I fish this underneath him. So when he lifts up, we just quickly trap, we pull, and karate chop, right? Judo chop, ha! Okay? All right, let's go. Let's get some repetitions. I'm gonna let Mr. Anderson go first this time since I just choked him. So I'll watch the clock, you get some reps. Let's practice that trap escape, meaning we trap their arm, we trap their foot, and we escape. So I trap his arm to me, I trap his foot to me, and I escape. As soon as I roll up, I try to sit up, and they fish it underneath, and choke you. Man. Partner starts screaming, that's a tap too. Right? Sometimes people get choked. They don't see it coming. They just start to gurgle. Right? Got my hands down. Trying to lift myself up with him. Then he's choking me. Oh man. Get that and it gets through. So remember, I trap this down to me. I get my elbow tight. I push up through his armpit. I trap this leg. So if I go here and he starts to bring his knee up to my armpit, pulls his foot out, right? Does that make sense? He can pull out. He can dig it back in deeper. Watch him move his leg now. So all I do is extend my toes out, make my leg heavy. Makes it hard to move his leg around. Now he's trapped, and I move. All right, just fishes it in, and he starts to choke this knot on me. All right, let's go one more time. Oh man, just constantly changing angles. Oh man, trap this, trap the foot, kick. Just not being nice. I don't want to lift my head. Get up. Ow. Get up, you get choked, right? Makes it not fun to sit up. Let's see if you're using the foot to get the roll. Trapping the arm to get the roll. Partners, if they can't get out, just roll for them, right? Just roll, just so you get a chance to choke them. All right, reverse jobs, let's go. We gotta finish up, other person gets to do this. I almost thought I was not going to get through this today. I was totally baffled how I ran out of time. I got myself down, I set him up. Nope, wrong one. My bad. Just looked like fun. Gonna go for leg triangle. All right, so where are we at? Oh yeah, Ezekiel motions. He starts to trap. Grab his arms, he can't do anything with it. Then, get my chokes easier. I don't want him having that arm messing with me, my armpit. Swim, I get to position, all right, bonus. Keep that shin turn, not your own arm. Be very careful. It's okay, I can still finish it from that way. And if you can't, if you're having, let's say you got a short arm and a big neck dude, you don't have to wrap in front of the throat. You can just put your knuckles on their neck again. Right, that works just fine sometimes. Just swim in, have my sleeve. Oh man, I got rolled. I pull him down, I just say, no way man, no way you're not getting up. And he goes, muscles up, and we get the choke. All right, 2 more, last 2 of these. Last one, and we're going to reverse. All right, so if you get rolled, you can still accomplish that choke as long as you don't let go of your sleeve. If you're doing no gi, it's a slightly different situation because you don't have a sleeve, right? So let's just kind of look at that just for a second. So lose the gi top, right? Or just if you have a hoodie on, just pull your sleeves up or whatever you have that had sleeves. Probably not wearing a dress shirt. All right, good. Now I'm sleeveless. So I'm not going to grab onto the hair of my arm because that would hurt me more than it would hurt him. So, right, so I'm here. I get my arm under his head. All I'm going to do is I'm going to hook. See this? I go here and I hook over the top of my thumb. So my pointer finger is pointing the same direction as my thumb. And then I just do the same pull. So you don't need, and if he rolls me, same concept. So I'm here and he rolls me, same concept. I just grab like this, making an X with my arms. Grab my wrist, put my knuckles on his neck, and pull. So you don't need to have a sleeve. This works just fine in a no-gi situation. And then there's some fancier ways of accomplishing this motion that you can do. We can kind of go from a gift wrap position or a twisting arm control position, whichever way you call it. But we'll kind of stay a little less fancy. So just keep rotating with your partner. I want you to get one choke from mount, then let them roll you, get one choke from guard, and then rotate jobs. So he gets his arm through, grabs his knuckle, they're like, he taps, we roll, and then taps again. They just switch jobs. Oh yeah. Right, so on top, fish through. Nope, no leg triangles. I just really badly want a leg triangle, I think. You're gonna choke. He simply rolls. Keep him down, get my knuckle. Drive it in. Use the shoulder muscle. Squeeze and apply. Sit him out. Arm underneath. Gets it. More in the throat. There you go. Yeah, when you get those chokes, like drive them. Push that shoulder knee. Use your shoulder knee. Right into their neck. Fill up that neck cavity. Got a bad shoulder, so I'm just sweeping the opposite way. Oh man. This arm trapped. Getting my knuckles into position. Get my chokes. Oh man. All right. One more time. Awesome. So, a lot of fun. Yes? Yes. Lots and lots of fun. So you can just start to imagine all the different ways you can accomplish this, and you can probably play with it as long as your partner is pretty willing. But anytime you got that there and use the knuckle, right? It's just how we grip. This is the same way that I accomplish a lot of my leg triangles, because a lot of times people hide their arms. We'll kind of just show you another real quick description. Let's say I'm here, right? And I've got an arm in and an arm out, right? And we get up to this position, and before I can lock this up, they drop this elbow into my hip. They put their hand on my armpit, so I can't get this meat shoulder into his neck, right? So if I just simply grab here and start to drive, I can get it, or I can just simply go here and drive and get it. So a lot of times you can start to look for this kind of motion in other submissions you're doing. You simply just put your knuckles into the side of one neck, right? And you just make sure you have something meaty on the other side. So hopefully that kind of helped. It's called an Ezekiel choke. We did it from on top, or some people call it a sleeve choke. You can go all the way over the top, but I find people with shorter arms or thick arms can't get their hand all the way over. So we just kind of did it in the neck. And then we also showed you the Noki variation, where you just simply grab onto your wrist. You drive in the same way. It works just fine. So you can imagine, even in a stand-up situation, when you're in close with someone, right, and you're grabbing, you can very easily switch around and attack that neck if you wanted. Cool? All right. Hop on up. Sorry about the earlier dismissal. Looking at my clock, and I'm used to stopping at the 9 with the big hand. Okay, ready? Attention position, and a good bow. And now our high fives. The virtual high five.